Hi and welcome to this relaxation session, centering around the idea of permission to eat. As ever, I invite you to get into a comfortable position. Just before we work through bringing awareness to our body, allow yourself to say thank you and mean thank you to yourself for being here and allowing yourself this time. So let's begin and bring our attention towards our feet first and foremost. Feel them relaxing, allowing yourself to wiggle your toes for a moment before coming to a place of stillness. You can feel them release any tension that they're holding on to, just spreading outwards. And moving up to your ankles, you may wish to stretch or rotate them and allow them to fall naturally in a place that feels most natural for you. No matter whether you are sitting or whether you are lying down, whatever position is most comfortable for you is right. And moving up, just pay attention to how your calves feel against where you are lying or resting, and allow yourself to keep your knees soft as you adjust. Just make sure you are allowing yourself to tune in with your body. Notice any sensations without judgment and just relax into yourself, following each and every one of my words as closely as you can, but not bringing judgment if your mind drifts off. And you can release any tension you're carrying in your quads or your hamstrings, allowing your hips to feel loose and allowing yourself to feel more and more comfortable as you just readjust and your whole lower half is feeling loose and relaxed and calm. And wherever you are lying or resting, allow yourself to settle in, relaxing your shoulders now, lowering them, letting them release any tension that they are holding on to unnecessarily. Move through your neck, allowing your head to rest at whatever angle feels most comfortable for you. And just feel the muscles around your face itself loosen and lengthen. And this may be right in the tiny muscles around your eyes, right up to your brow. Just allow yourself to be here now, meeting yourself where you are, where your feet are, where your shoulders are, where your head is. Be here now. And as ever, I invite you to increase this connection with yourself, feeling your chest and your stomach rise with each inhale, and let the exhale sink as you go deeper into this state of calm. And once more, just allow yourself to readjust, closing your eyes if they are not already, taking those deep breaths if they are not already, and relaxing any further parts of yourself, even the smallest of muscles, as you rest here, relishing this stillness time that you have brought for yourself. And as we begin, this time focusing on the concept of unconditional permission to eat, I am going to invite you to picture a scene on a beach. And without any expectation of this beach to look a certain way, I invite you to take your time to establish all of the sensory qualities of that beach that you believe to be most safe, that you believe to be most calming, and that you believe to be most healing. Perhaps it is a beach with not many other people on, or perhaps no people at all. Perhaps there are some animals accompanying you on that beach, and the time of day can be whatever you wish. whether this be early in the morning when the sun is just rising over the horizon, whether this be midday when it is highest in the sky, or whether it be in the evening when the sky is dropping once again behind the horizon. Picture any colours that you see reflecting on the water, any type of sand or stones that you visualise on that beach, and even the weather is completely up to you. You are in control of what your mind paints here. The narrative that you paint is the narrative that you can allow yourself to be within. And as you are standing there, looking out at the view in front of you that you have pictured in your mind's eye, I invite you to just take a seat. It may be that you have brought along a mat or towel with you, or it may be that you wish to sit on the sands or the stone. You may be in the dunes, or you may be closer to the water. Whatever you see is right. Be there now, focusing on your breathing, deep in through your nose and out through your mouth. And after you have sat there for some time, simply breathing and activating your body's calming response, I invite you to see how in the reeds just behind you, to your left or to your right, wherever you may picture, there is a wonderful old-looking kite stuck within the reeds. And the reeds are so high that the kite has tangled its way around them. It is still in the air, somewhat, but does not have the freedom to fly. It is tethered to a place where it should not be, and so your resolve is to release that kite, to be in the sky. And what we are going to do during this time, as we unpick all of the parts of the kite that has been knotted up, is attach those to unknotting, untethering, and unlinking the permissions that you may attach to eating unconditionally. And as we do unpick those knots from the kite, we can get a deeper sense that it is entirely within our control for us to loosen the rules and the obstacles and the tethers and the attachments that we put on our permission to eat. So you start on the first knot now, tethered around a high reed itself. And this knot is going to represent how your permission to eat is completely unassociated with the time of day. Your hunger and your cues are turning up when they need to. And in the absence of hunger and cues, which may well be suppressed due to long-term ignoring of them, we can and we must eat anyway. The time of day that your body does send its cues are safe to respond to, and the time of day when the body doesn't send the cues are also okay to respond to. Your permission to eat is completely unassociated with the time of day, whether this be extremely early in the morning, whether this be 11 a.m, whether this be late at night. Your body cueing you either mentally or physically to eat is always safe to respond to. And in time, you have worked your way through that knot, and the tether of the kite just looks a little bit longer now. But there are a few more knots to unpick, and so we will work through those. Just before we do, I invite you to take another deep breath in, staying here and staying present in this time, listening to each and every one of my words now. And moving on to the next knot, this one is going to represent how your permission to eat is completely unlinked to anything that you have eaten before. Before this time, whether you have eaten certain types of food, certain quantities of food, this moment of eating is independent, and you have unconditional permission to satiate yourself fully, both mentally and physically. No matter what you have eaten before now, it is safe to follow through right here and right now without thinking back to that past eating occasion. The food that you have eaten before is entirely irrelevant to the food that you have permission to eat now. And then quickly moving on to that next knot, we note how the permission to eat food unconditionally now, without any rules or any limitations, is entirely irrelevant to the food that you may well eat later. This moment of eating here and now is unconditional, and that means you can honour and satiate all of your hunger, both mental and physical, without it having any impact on what you might eat later. And moving forward to the next knot in quick succession, you can see how your permission to eat in this moment, right now, is entirely unassociated with any movement that you have done in the day. There is absolutely no movement required in order to honour your permission to eat, in order to respond to your cues, and in order to satiate yourself fully. There is no link between the movement that you do and the food that you consume. It is safe to unconditionally eat without rules or rituals, without any movements in place. And when we discuss this, we must see this is not just formal and observable movement, but lower level, small micro movements that we may carry out. Your unconditional permission to eat has no relevance to the movement levels that you have. And moving on, as you take a nice big deep breath in, we can see that there are only 2 more knots to unpick on this particular kite. And the next one is going to represent that your permission to eat is entirely unlinked to the food that other people around you are eating. It has no association for your permission if other people are eating less than you, if other people are eating not as regularly as you, or if other people are choosing different foods than the ones that you need to feel truly satiated. Your unconditional permission to eat whatever, whenever, and how much ever is based on you and your body, for this is your body and your needs, and no level of external and visual appearance of other people's intake will be accurate for you to follow. And the final knot now, allowing yourself to see that there is only one left, representing something truly important. Your permission to eat is not based on your weight, and this is the case now, and it is the case forever. Your permission to eat will never go. Your permission to eat will not reduce as physical healing happens, and this is a permission that you can always allow yourself for the rest of time. One to honour what you wish to eat in accordance to your cues, when you wish to eat in accordance to your cues, and how much you wish to eat in accordance to your cues. And when cues aren't there, it is still okay. There are a multitude of reasons why cues may be absent, or when eating is equally as acceptable in their absence. So take a deep breath in as you hold on to that kite, free from its tangle around those long, waving reeds. And just focus now on the strength that it feels in your hand as it soars upwards, and it is released and it is free, and it can move in the way that it wishes, and it is full of energy and life as it dances around in the breeze, which is soft and gentle, but nonetheless you can see the vitality within it. Take a deep breath in as you look up at that kite, moving naturally, moving intuitively in the way that it wishes, dancing from left to right and up and down, wherever it is taken. Your unconditional permission to eat is not linked to the time of day. Your unconditional permission to eat is not linked to anything you have eaten before or after now. Your unconditional permission to eat is not linked to the movement that you do or the consumption patterns of others. And finally, your permission to eat is not linked to your weight. None of those aspects hold any bearing to your unconditional permission to eat, and that is to respond to that level of satiation, both mentally and physically. And to finish out this time, and to come back to ourselves, I really invite you to bring your attention gently back to your breath. Don't exert yourself by trying to block any thoughts. You can just remain passive and remind your body that you are here now, in the present moment, just breathing in the quiet with your breath, very safe. And as I count back from 5, I invite you to allow the scene of the beach that you pictured to fade away from your mind's eye, and to relocate yourself back in the room that you are truly within, giving yourself a nice, warm thank you for this time that you have granted yourself. And with each and every count, please do take a deep breath in, allowing yourself to rest for however much longer you need and however much longer you can afford yourself, taking all that has helped with you and leaving what hasn't, knowing that you are on your own side and you are at the helm of granting yourself permission. 5, 4, 3, 2, and the final deep breath in, as deep as you can, filling your lungs before you exhale and allow yourself to rest for any further time. 1.